still voicemails.
Alright, I wanted to share another one of my grandfather's stories with you guys. It's called Grizzlevoice. So, a long time ago, in the ancient tribes, the way that the men used to get their women was one, by being a great hunter, but two, by being a great singer. What they would do when they were courting a female is they would hide in the bushes. I know it's a little creepy now, but they would hide in the bushes, and whenever they saw a pretty girl walk by, they would start to sing. And if the pretty girl liked the way that the man was singing, then she would come and she would choose him as her mate. Well, one day the young boys, who were just learning to become hunters, were finally to that point where they were able to go with the rest of the hunting group, the hunting party. So this one boy was super excited because he knew that when he went hunting today and brought back a bear, he would be able to find that girl. And he already had his eye on one. And he wanted to sing for her because he had a beautiful singing voice. Well, this young man went out on the hunting party that day. For 3 days they walked through the woods searching for bears when all of a sudden the leader of the hunting pack goes, "You guys smell that? It's a wet dog smell." Obviously they didn't have dogs, but that's actually what a bear smells like. So if you're in the woods and you smell a wet dog, it's probably a bear. So he smells it. Next thing you know, they see it. Far in the distance, this large brown bear, trashing a tree, ripping it to pieces, looking for bugs to eat. Well, they try to sneak up on the bear, and a twig underneath one of their feet breaks, and the bear hears them, and he turns, and he charges towards the hunting party. And they're throwing their spears, and they're shooting their arrows, and he gets closer and closer and closer. And the young man steps in front of the bear with his spear, right up into the bear's chest. Bam! He holds his ground. Strong boy. Well, that bear runs into that spike, and it goes into his chest, and right as the bear starts to die, he gets up right next to the little boy. He bites him on the throat, starts crushing his throat, and he almost crushes his throat to where it would kill the boy when that spear kills the bear, and he falls down. Well, the boy was severely injured, so they took the bear back to camp, and they took the boy to see the medicine man. The medicine man put all kinds of salves and leaves and oils and ointments on it. But the next day when he comes out of the tent to talk to the boy's family, he says, "I'm sorry, but this is going to ruin his voice forever." Well, the family was very upset because they knew that this meant the boy would never be able to find a woman. And he would never be able to have children, and they would never be grandparents. So a few months went by, and the young boy started adopting a name. Everyone was calling him Grizzlevoice because of the bear and because of the fact that he talked like this. Everywhere he went, he talked like this. His singing voice was just terrible. So in a fit of depression, the boy decided to leave the camp. He thought, there's no purpose for me here. So he takes off into the woods, and he's walking, and he's headed up the mountain, and he gets to the top of the mountain and makes camp there. And that night, it starts to snow, and it snowed and snowed and snowed. And then the next day it snowed and snowed and snowed, and he was hunkered down there just with a little fire and a small tent that he had made in order to survive. One night he was sitting by the fire, and he saw something in the snow, and he walked over to see what it was, and it was a little frozen woodpecker. Had been frozen by the snow and the ice. He wasn't sure if it was alive or not, but he took that little woodpecker, he put it inside his jacket, and he got right up next to the fire, and he kept it there, and it thawed out, and it started to wake up and move its head around, and he gave it some water, and he took good care of it, went and found some food for it to eat. And the next morning he wakes up, and the bird is gone. He says, "Okay, I guess I saved it," and he felt really good about that part. At least he could do something in his life. He saved that bird. All of a sudden he hears a voice behind him. "I am a powerful sorcerer, and you have showed me kindness, so I will in turn show you a kindness." Amazed, he looked up and saw the woodpecker fly up into the top of a tree. Now this tree was dead. All of the branches were hollow. the woodpecker started poking holes in the hollow branch of the tree. It was about this big, and he started poking holes. Every few centimeters, he poked a hole. He flew back down and he said, "Now cut down that branch and let me show you something." So he did. He cut down the branch. The bird told him, smooth this end and smooth this end, and he showed him how to make a little cut in it. And he said, "Now blow through it." And when Grizzlevoice blew through that thing, oh my God, the sound that came out of that was absolutely beautiful. So, he had the very first flute. So Grizzlevoice, with all kinds of new enthusiasm, actually went back to his town. Nobody knew he was coming back, but he hid in the woods, and when the girl he liked passed by, he started playing that beautiful flute. Do-do-do, do-do-do. She was so amazed and enthralled by that sound that she just had to know what it was. And she saw, behind the bush, it was Grizzlevoice. And he's like, I love you. I've made this flute to play for you since I can't sing." And she thought it was so beautiful that she chose him to be her husband. And Grizzlevoice, from that point on, became the chief flute maker for the tribes, and he had the very first flute. So the message here is, even when life takes away everything from you, do not give up your kindness, because being kind to someone can lead you to a place of happiness and peace. And I want to thank my grandfather for putting these stories into my life so that I could share them with you. Thanks, guys.